Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about another product review. I've done a lot of videos before on these types of units, these solar generators, and I have found that these are absolutely fantastic. I've also mentioned on my channel numerous times that most of the companies who contact me to review products I turn down. I mean, I get offered everything from cosmetics to vaping stuff to car floor mats to like you name it. They message you and ask you, hey, would you like to review our product? And most of the things are just not relevant. Even some homesteading stuff. I just did a video the other day on freeze dryers, and I know a lot of you guys love your freeze dryers. I just don't see it for me. Number one, the power consumption, all the reasons I stated in the video. I gave you 6 reasons on why I'm never going to own a freeze dryer. All that aside, some of you guys do find a lot of value in those, and that's fine. Something I will review that I do think has a lot of value, especially when it comes to preparedness, when it comes to homesteading, when it comes to the world we live in today, where rolling blackouts is in our vernacular, and we are talking about these things, and we're talking about potential terrorist cells activating and taking down the grid and all this stuff. Something like this can come in to be very handy. Now, I'm not going to go through all the specifics on all the numbers on this thing today. The reason I'm going to do that is because there's already a lot of videos out there reviewing this product. My favorite one was from a guy by the name of Professor Hobo. I love that name, Professor Hobo. He has a channel called Hobo Tech, and I'm going to link that video down below and also at the end card, so you can click on that and get all the numbers. And he goes through all kinds of great scientific testing on how to, talk about the potential and the capacity for a unit like this, specifically this one, the 2400 watt Oupes solar generator. Of all the ones I have reviewed thus far, and I have reviewed a number of these, starting all the way back with over a year ago, I did a quick review on one for Blue Eddy. It was someone else's unit that they owned, and we have since gotten a Blue Eddy also here on the Homestead. And so there's a lot of good ones out there. There's some okay ones. I would recommend anything with a lithium iron. I wouldn't say anything with a lithium. As a minimum, it needs to have a lithium iron phosphate battery. That's what this unit has. This so far, of all the ones I've tested, of all the ones I have officially reviewed on my channel, this has been my favorite. And it's been really impressive with what it does. And so I basically charged it up when I first got it, and it's been it ran my freezer for about 3 to 4 days just on solar power. We had some great sunny days, and it just ran my freezer. I have a almost 14 cubic foot freezer that I run and that I have meat stored in, and this ran it for like 3 or 4 days, and finally I had to pull it because we had some cloudy days come on, so I had to pull it off and then charge it and put the freezer back on my normal house solar power. So all that to say, if you're like me, you probably have a lot of meat maybe stored in a freezer somewhere, and the reality is if something happened, you'd be really in trouble. There's that story that happened a number of years back where those guys, it was like in Texas. Remember that big freeze that came through Texas? And the power outages that ensued for like weeks at a time for some of these people. And they were like, what are we going to do? We have our freezer full of meat and it's all going to go bad. And everyone failed to realize that it's like, 15 degrees outside. You can put your meat outside in coolers or whatever and it'd be okay. But we just don't think about stuff like that. But if you're in a place where that's not the case and you have a rolling blackout and it's not wintertime and you want to be able to have something that you can set aside for emergency use to keep your meat good, this is it right here. Now, the thing that's coming up for me, I have been storing a lot of stuff, just not meat or from our grass-fed cows that we buy like this, but like this right here. Chicken feet. I have a bunch of the stuff in the freezer. And so what's going to come up here soon is that we are going to make chicken broth and chicken stock. And that's something you do normally in the wintertime. You butcher your chickens as you need to throughout the year, and then you save all the legs and feet. And then when it comes time, you make your chicken stock and your chicken broth, and that's going to feed you for a lot of soups in the wintertime especially. And so now's about the time we're going to get ready to do that. We'll do a video on that separate. But it's a unit like this that's basically keeping my freezer up and running because I have stuff like this that I need to get to this winter. So I hope that makes sense. I mean, you are probably if you're probably like me, you've got all this stuff and you need to be thinking about these emergency. Do you understand why I will review products like this? Because I have said often on my channel, if you push preparedness to its logical conclusion, you will end up on a homestead. So most of us are preparedness minded, and something like this can go a long way at keeping you prepared or giving you at least a buffer so that you have some backup energy that you need if you're on grid. Most of my audience is not off grid. Some of you are, I know you are, but a lot of you are not. And so if that grid goes down, what are you going to do? How are you going to create a buffer between the time the grid goes out until the time that it maybe come back on or maybe never come back on? You need to have some sort of buffer where you can act and take some things, put some things into motion, take action for some things. This allows you to do that. Now, just to go over some of the benefits. Okay, this has a slide. And again, Professor Hobo's video that I'll link to in the description and at the end will give you all the numbers and details. But this thing basically has 3,500 cycles. What does that mean? It's going to discharge and charge, 3,500 times, and that will bring it down to about 80% capacity. Okay, so 3,500 times, 365 days a year, you've got over 9 years that this should last you and work for you before it goes bad. Again, this comes with the lithium iron phosphate batteries, a much more stable and reliable lithium battery. Okay, my entire home is run on lithium iron phosphate. Back in the day, I started with lead acid and then progressed to AGMs, and now I'm at, which is also kind of a lead acid, but the old lead acid deep cycle batteries, and then the new AGM batteries, and then we moved to lithium iron phosphate, much more stable, and it was a game changer. Some of the other units that I have reviewed are not lithium iron phosphate. This stands out. And the thing is, so let me go on a bit of a rant here. I was thinking about this the other day. I have a pair of night vision. It's the PVS-14, and back in the military, we had the PVS-7s, I think, the 7 Bravos, whatever they were called. And night vision just seems to stay expensive. It never comes down in value, whereas just in the short amount of time that I have reviewed these products and looked at these electronics, they always come down. They're coming down in value. They're coming down in price. The value's going up. They're getting actually more sophisticated and more capable, but the price is going down. This is the lowest price I have seen one of these units, especially a 2,400 watt lithium iron phosphate battery. There's 3 ways to charge this thing. You can charge it either with solar panels, you can charge it with AC power, or you can charge it with car power. Okay, it comes with the ability to charge all that. It comes with Anderson hookups in the back here or on the side here, and I like these Anderson hookups. This is exactly what I use. So out on the side of my home, I have a couple solar panels that are dedicated just for units like this should I need them, so that I can run them independently away from my home or for my home. So I have these 2 panels. Okay, each one is a 300 watt panel, and this one, because these Anderson hookups will only handle a 500 watt panel, which is actually around 500, a little less than 500 watt panel, I can't run those together in series. I can only run one of them at a time. So that's one of the downfalls on a system like this. I wish they would up their Anderson outlets to handle more than a true 500 or even a 600, true 600 watt series setup. So if someone wanted to go out and buy these panels, real panels, instead of these foldable ones, and set them up for a more permanent structure, you could do that and use these as a way to reliably charge these systems quicker. They do come with, also the AC hookups, the 8mm hookups to charge as well in this. And so you've got 3 ways to charge it. Again, you have about 9.5 years of use on this thing. It's got basically ports to charge anything you'd want to charge, or to run anything you'd want to run on this unit. Again, this is probably the most impressive one I have looked at to date. Here's the deal. If you want to get something like this, a lot of these companies, they'll say, hey, we'll give you some percentage. I don't really care about that. That's why I'm referring you over to the Professor Hobo's channel too, because I know he's selling the same thing. I say, listen, just give me a deal so I can pass on a little bit of savings to my audience, okay? I'm not interested in a residual income for this. You can either hit the link below, or you can, where there's a coupon information down below. I don't know how long that will last. It's an Amazon link. It'll take you to Amazon where you can get this. It's around $1,200, with shipping and tax or wherever you live. So it's about like that. Okay. Again, the cheapest price I have seen for a 2400 watt system that's lithium iron phosphate. And so far, again, like I said, I was pretty impressed with the performance. Again, Professor Hobo goes deep into the numbers, and he gives it a thumbs up as well. So check out that video. I'll leave it linked below. Other than that, chicken feet. Now, some of you guys out there were like, oh, I don't understand how you eat that balut. That's so disgusting. And some of you will get so disgusted by that. Look at those nasty, nasty nails. I mean, come on. You would really eat that? No, actually, I would drink it after I boiled it and got all the good stuff out of it, because all that collagen all that stuff is healthy for you. So raise your chickens, raise them as naturally as you possibly can, save all the chicken feet, save all the chicken legs, and put up for yourselves some chicken broth this year. I got a couple bags of these things in the freezer, and we'll do a video on saving all that and putting up a whole bunch of broth in my pantry so that we can have lots of healthy and yummy soups this winter. And so anyway, all the information for the Oupes is down below. You can check it out, and we'll talk more about these guys coming up soon in the future. Check out our merchandise over at teespring.com. I don't know how much longer they're going to allow us to sell these shirts. It sounds like YouTube is going to eliminate that. They don't want you content creators out there making too much money. We want you to be suffering, and especially you ones out there that talk about things we don't want you to talk about. So apparently they're going to make the Teespring stuff go away or be harder to find. I don't know. So you have a limited amount of time. Find our best-selling shirt, Stupid Should Hurt. If we had more hurt in this world, we'd have an awful, awful lot less stupid. And, of course, farm fresh butt nuggets from these guys. See you next time on the Homestead. Bye! It's 2023, and the banks are continuing to struggle and fail. The bottom line on why our country is in so much financial trouble is that we have for years not lived within our means. Government spending in Congress is out of control, and government printing of US dollars has reached no limits. For only the second time in history, we have more debt than our GDP. That means we owe more money than our country is actually worth. See, it used to be said that the US dollar was backed by the gross domestic product. But when the debt exceeds that amount, it's no wonder why so many countries are now refusing to trade in that ever-increasingly worthless currency. That's why you need to safeguard your wealth. You've worked and saved your entire life, and now it's all at risk. Genesis Gold Group is a faith-based business that will help you move your assets into physical gold and silver. Precious metals have stood the test of time during economic failures all throughout history. Call Genesis Gold Group today and let them develop a strategy for your savings, 401k, or self-directed IRA. A strategy of physical gold and silver. You can call the number on the screen or visit them at genesisgoldgroup.com, and be sure to say you heard about them from an American Homestead. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the Homestead that we make here on the Homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.